Good day, children. This is Mrs. Vanessa Honey Thomas, your English teacher of class 9th. I'm here with your second lesson, Shah Abdul Latif, and the book name is English Book for class 9th, St. Textbook Jamshoro. Before starting the lesson, I will give you a brief biography of Shah Abdul Latif. Shah Latif was a well-known Sindhi Sufi scholar, believer, saint, poet and musician. He is famous due to his poetry in Sindhi language. He is worldwide recognized due to his message of peace and prosperity. So let's start the lesson. Before reading, I have selected few vocabulary words and I will give you the meanings of it. Words meanings are: number 1, extremely. Extremely means intensely. Number 2, far and wide means all round. Number 3, fold. Fold means circle. Number 4, shrines. Shrines mean burial place. Let's start reading the first paragraph. Islam is the religion of peace. God sent the Prophet as a blessing to mankind. He won people's hearts by his kind nature and gentle ways. His noble example was followed by many of his followers in all ages, all over the world. It was through the efforts of these saintly men that Islam spread far and wide. These holy men were extremely successful in bringing non-Muslims to the fold of Islam. Students, what is told about the religion of Islam and about the Prophet, peace be upon him? It is told Islam is the religion of peace and mercy for all creatures. Islam condemns extremism and violence. Islam promotes the peace and harmony in society. We can see its example in the life of the Prophet, peace be upon him. He showed mercy not only to human beings but also on animals, insects and plants. God sent Prophet, peace be upon him, as a mercy into the world. Due to these qualities, he wins the hearts of the people. His examples was followed by many of his followers in all over the world, in all ages. Islam spread all over the world due to their saintly men. They were successful to convert the non-Muslim to Islam. Now the next paragraph. In every part of our country, there are shrines of such saints. In Lahore are the shrines of Data Ganj Baksh and Mia Mir Sahib. In Pak Patan lived and died Baba Farid. In Multan is the shrine of Gaus Bahul Haq. In Peshawar, in Quetta and in countless other towns and cities, there are the tombs of these men of God. In Sindh are the tombs of two great saints, Shah Abdul Latif and Kalandar Lal Shehbaz. There are so many shrines in our country of such saints. If you go Lahore, you will find the shrines of great saints Data Ganj Baksh and Mia Mir Sahib. Move on to the meanings. Number 5, devotees, meaning admirer. Number 6, ancestors, meaning forefathers. Number 7, migrated. Migrated mean moved from one place to another. Number 8, acquiring. Acquiring mean obtaining. Number 9, devotion. Devotion mean love. Number 10, restless, means tense. Number 11, descendants, mean children. Let's move on to the next paragraph. The great Saint Shah Abdul Latif, who is lovingly called Lal Latif by his devotees, was born in 1102. Hijra is a small village called Hala Haveli. The good Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb then ruled the country. Shah Abdul Latif's ancestors migrated to Sindh during the days of Tamerlane. They had come from Herat. Sindh was then a center of Muslims culture, and Shah Abdul Latif ancestors liked it so much that they decided to make it their home. But no one would have remembered their names or learnt about them if many centuries later one of their descendants, Sayyid Habib Shah, had not been blessed with a son who grew up to be Saint Lal Latif. Dear students, you will find the biography of Shah Latif in this paragraph. Shah Latif was born in 1102 in a small village called Hala Haveli. At that time, Aurangzeb was ruling the country. His parents comes from Herat. It is one of the province of Afghanistan. At that time, Sindh was the center of Muslims culture. Being Muslim, they liked the culture of Muslims and they decided to live there and made their home. No one have remembered their names if Shah Latif had not been born in their family. When he grew up, he brightened the name of his family. Let's start reading the next paragraph. Shah Latif had a very sensitive mind. His heart was soon filled with the love of God. The beauty of nature aroused his feelings strongly. While he was only a boy, he started composing poetry. He was also keen on acquiring knowledge, and he grew up to be a scholar of Arabic and Persian. When he was 20, he married a noble and good lady. He showed great kindness to his wife and lived at home for many years. His heart, however, turned more and more towards religion and devotion, and he felt restless in living a normal domestic life. In this paragraph, it is mentioned that he has very sensitive. Sensitive means thoughtful. In his young age, he was very sensitive in his young age. He started to love God. When he was young, he started composing poetry. As we see that in his young age, his desire was to get knowledge. He loved to gain knowledge. That the result, when he grew up, he became the scholar of Arabic and Persian. In his young age, he got married. He loved his wife and spent many years with her. But his heart was connected with God. he felt more comfortable in prayer and in devotion. Devotion means love of God. That's why he felt tense in his domestic life. Let's read the words meaning. Number 12, restless. Restless means tense. Number 13, calm. Calm means peaceful. Number 14, invented. Invented means discovered. Number 15, instrument means device. Number 16, strings. String means a set of things tied together on a thin cord. Reading of the next paragraph. When his father died, Shah Latif left his home and went to live on a mount of stone distance from his village. A mount of sand is called Bet in Sindhi due to the fact that he lived on this mount for the rest of his life. Shah Latif came to be known as the Saint of Bet. To this day, he is famous all over the country as Shah Abdul Latif Betai or Shah Latif of the Mount. As days passed, Latif's love of God grew more and more until he found pleasure only in devotion and spent most of his time in prayer and deep thinking. His spiritual power grew stronger with prayer and devotion, so much so that people began to be attracted towards him. Anyone who came to him was strongly impressed by his gentle ways, and his followers increased day by day. Close to the mount on which Shah Latif came to live is a nature lake. His poetic nature loved the calm atmosphere. He would spend much of his time sitting on the bank of this lake. As he sat there, he prayed to God and sometimes composed verses in his praise. So, after the death of his father, he left home and went on a mount of sand, which was away from his village. A mount is a heaped pile of sand, which is called Bet in Sindhi. He spent rest of his life on the mount, and he came to be known as Saint of Bet. From the day he is famous as Shah Latif Betai or Shah Latif of the Mount. Most of his time was spent in love of God and deep thinking. His spiritual power increased day by day with prayer and devotion. The next paragraph is, Shah Latif was not only a saint and a poet, but also a musician. He found great comfort in music. His skill in this art enabled him to make many improvements and changes in the difficult music of his time. As in everything else, he loved simplicity in music and musical instruments. He did not agree with the idea that music should be difficult, so he made it simple. He also invented a simple musical instrument and called it tamburo. It was like an instrument used by the Arabs, but the number of strings was difficult. To this day, the tamburo is popular all over Sindh. Old and young play it and sing the songs of Latif to its simple but moving tunes. So Latif was not only a saint, a poet, but also a great musician. He was so skillful that he made improvement and change in the difficult music. He also not agree that music should be difficult. He also invented a musical instrument called tamburo. To this day, tamburo is popular all over Sindh. All people sing songs on it. Words meanings. Number 17, melody. Melody means tune. Number 18, purity. Purity means goodness. Number 19, dignity. Dignity means nobility. Number 20, simplicity. Simplicity means the quality or condition of being easy to understand. Number 21, Safar means second month of the Islamic calendar. Let's move on to the next paragraph. Lal Latif died in 1165 Hijrah on the mount where he had lived and was buried. There, a famous king of Sindh, Ghulam Shah Kalhoro, was so devoted to him that he built a shrine over his grave. Latif's devotees collected his poetry, and this collection came to be called the Risalo of Shah Abdul Latif. He was a poet of the people, so he wrote poetries in the language of the common men. This collection of his poems is so valued that it has been translated into many languages. One great quality of Latif's poetry, besides its simplicity, is its moving music. When you listen to it, even if you do not understand a word of it, you will be moved by its melody. Latif's Urs is held at his shrine every year on 14th Safar, the second month of the Muslim calendar. Many thousands of people gather, listen to the saints' songs sung on the tamburo, and offer their prayers. Lal Latif was died in 1165 Hijrah and was buried on the mount where he lived. Ghulam Shah Kalhoro, ruler of that time, was devoted to. He built a shrine over his grave. The collection of his poetry come to be known the Risalo of Shahji. He wrote poetry in the language of common men. His poetry was so valued that it has been translated in many languages. What was the quality of his poetry? The quality of his poetry is that, besides its simplicity, it is the moving music. If you listen to it, even you do not understand it, but you will be moved by its melody. Latif's Urs is celebrated on 14th Safar, the second month of Islamic calendar. Thousands of people come there and listen to the saints' song, which are sung to tamburo and after their prayers. This is the last paragraph of this lesson. Many learned men read papers that tell about Latif's life and his poetry. Recently, a library, a rest house and a museum have been built. The shrine itself has been rebuilt and connected with the main road. Its lovely white dome, representing the purity and dignity of Latif, can be seen from many kilometers. Latif's message is the message of love. He believed in the brotherhood and equality of men and in pleasing God by good deeds. This, according to him, is the goal of life. The explanation of the last paragraph is that many educated and learned people read paper about his life and poetry. What will you find on the shrine of Latif? If you will go there, you will find a rest house, a library, and a museum. The shrine, so rebuilt and connected to the main road. The white dome of the shrine can be seen from many kilometers, representing the purity and dignity of Latif. Now, what is the message of Shah Latif's poetry? That is mentioned in the last paragraph, that Latif's message is the message of love. He believed in the brotherhood and equality of men and in the pleasing God by good deeds. This, according to him, is the goal of life. We also have to keep this message in our lives. Thanks. I hope you understood the lesson. Your home task is answer the given questions. Question number 1. When and where was Shah Abdul Latif born? Where had Shah ancestors migrated from? Question number 2. What is the meaning of a bit? Why is Shah called the saint of bit or Batai? Question number 3. What change did Shah Latif make in the music of those days? Question number 4. What are the qualities of Shah Latif's poetry? Question number 5. What is Latif's message? Question number 6. What do you know about Bit Shah? Question number 7. How did Shah Abdul Latif spend his time on the bank of the lake? Question number 8. Write summary of the lesson, Shah Abdul Latif. Children, please note, kindly do this home task in your school copy. Marks will be given to you on the basis of your homework. Thanks. Stay home and be safe.